Now we're going to learn about the classic MRP in SAP S4HANA. So the topics we'll be covering, they are what is classic MRP and the issues that we had with the classic MRP. So before we start, let us understand what is classic MRP. So the standard MRP transaction MD01, MD02 or MD03 have been available since the earliest release of SAP ERP system. Since the development of S4HANA system, all the previous ABAP based transactions are now called classic MRP transactions, while the new MRP is known as MRP Live, which is MD01 and transactions. So we'll talk about MRP Live in another video later on. Classic MRP transactions are also available in the S4HANA system along with the new MRP Live transaction, which is MD01N. Fury app is not available for classic MRP and it can only be run from SAP GUI. Now, if you want to run the traditional MD01, MD02 or MD03, as saying that there is no Fury app available, but we can still run it. We can create an app, but we can run it via the HTML based transaction that will be similar to the GUI transaction, but there is no specific app created by the SAP company. So this is the classic MRP. In simple words, the traditional MRP transactions MD01, MD02 or MD03 are now known as classic MRP transactions. Now we'll discuss what were the issues we had with classic MRP. So first one is the increased load on the system because it's consuming a lot of resources, so putting a lot of load on the system. It's time consuming as well, takes a lot of time, long hours to complete it. Consumes system resources, for example CPU or the memory, etc. Usually we run it at the night time, and also it doesn't provide a real-time update all the time because we're running it at the night time. So in the daytime, if there's a new orders, new changes within the MRP or the requirement, then we do not see the updated result all the time. So these are the issues we had with the classic MRP. Now there's another issue is that we got three different transactions to run MRP. So MD01 to run the MRP in the whole plant, MD02 to run MRP for a single material, single plant, but for multiple level. So it will go through all the way through the BOM as well, go to the multiple level. And we got also MD03 if you want to run at the single level for the specific material or plant combination. So we got three different transactions just to run MRP, but with MRP Live there is one transaction only, MD01N, that we discussed in the next video. So single transaction will be replacing all these three transactions. So that means single transaction will be able to run MRP for one plant, more than one plant, single level, multiple level. We can enter single material, combination material, etc., etc. So we'll see that later on. Then also we got within the traditional MRP, we got no option to enter multiple plants. That means you can enter only one plant at a time. So here you can see MD01, MD02 and MD03. So you can only enter the plant, one plant at a time. You can't enter more than one plant. So that's another issue we had. Then we also got the problem with we cannot run MRP for more than one material. So here you can see in MD02 and MD03 where you can enter the material code. You can only enter one material code. If you want to enter more than one material code, then you can't. There's no option. Then also if you want to enter a combination of different materials and different plants, still you do not have any option. You can only enter one material and one plant within MD02 and MD03. Also, there is no option to, if you want to run the MRP for a MRP controller only, there is no option within the MD01 screen. or the other MD02 or 3 transaction. So that means you cannot run MRP for a specific controller. Also, you cannot run MRP for a material group only. If you want to run MRP just for specific material group, then you can't. There's no option for that. Then also, if we got another issue that no option to plan for stock transfer material. That means, for example, if you're running MRP for say material X, one material or more than one material, say if you use MD01, if you run it for plant 1000, say if you're running MD02 for example, you're running it for material X in plant 1000, and say if this material is procured from, so plant 1000 is procuring from stock transfer from plant 1100, and this plant is stock transferring from the plant 1200. So if you're running the MRP at this level 1000 at say plant 1000 using MD02 MD03 transaction, system will not plan or run MRP for this material in the other STO plants. That means system will be running MRP only at this plant for this material and will not do the planning within the other plants. That means you need to run MRP for those plants individually. So running MRP for one specific plant will not run for all other plants where we procuring this material as a STO. So this issue is also solved with the MD01 and MRP live transaction. Now we can say that, let's have a look. We can say that we can use the scope of planning to run MRP for more than one plant. So let's look at this one as well. So here we got our S4HANA system. So here I'll show you quickly MD01 and transaction, MD01, sorry. So that's a traditional transaction still available in this system that we can run it. And quickly I show you the other transaction as well, MD02. Here you can see there's only one material we can enter, only one plant we can enter, and also MD03 where we can enter only one material and one plant. Now if I go back to MD01, now as I said that it will not do the, if it's STO material, it will not do the planning for the other material, but there can be one question that yes, we can use the scope of planning. So in the customizing for a scope of planning, we can define or we can maintain more than one plant, and system will be considering we can then remove this plant and we can use this say scope of planning is ABC, so ABC1. So ABC1 will have a combination of different plants where for which we can run the MRP. But let me quickly show you the scope of planning as well, customizing. Do a Control F. Okay, so I repeat my question again, that I'm saying that if I run MRP for a plant, system will not do the planning for the STO plants. But one can say that, okay, we can define say more than one plant here. So for example, I can run for all the plants. I can select some plants here. I can say, okay, plant 1010, press enter. Show me some error, so we can, yep, accepting. And same way we can enter more plants. So here we got one plant, second plant, third plant, four plants, and all that. And we can have a combination of plant, and system will be running MRP for all those plants. But what happens is, and we can select here that scope of planning that will have a combination of the plants, and system will be running MRP for those plants. Now let's see the issue with scope of planning as well. So what happens is, say, just example, this is a scope of planning. You got say a scope of planning, you created ABC1 or 999 something, and you got a combination of the plants that you have assigned there. So you have say 2400 plant first, 2500 then, and so on. Now when system is running the MRP, system will be running the MRP within this order. So first it will run MRP for plant 2400. When it's finished, then it will run MRP for 2500, then 2300, then plant 1000, then plant 1100, and so on. But if you look at this scenario on the right hand side again, say if your material X, okay, which is procured from material at plant 1200 is procured from plant 1000, and plant 1000 is procuring this as STO from plant 2400. And in this case, if you run MRP for, say, first, you can see the scope of planning is like this. And first you run MRP for plant 2400. So what happens is, now this material will be planned first in 2400, then 2500, then 23, and so on. But when the system is reaching at 1200 plants, say this one at number 6, when system is running MRP at this plant, then what will happen is, because this is procuring from plant 1000 plant is already planned. This is already planned. So system will not be doing the planning again in plant 1000. And further, plant 1000 is buying this from plant 2400. Because system has already run this at these plants, so system will not be doing the planning again once it will reach plant 1200. So it will say, okay, there's a requirement here at plant 1200, but system will say, okay, it will not replan at the plant like 1000 and 2400 because that's already planned. So system will not consider this scenario. So that's the issue with the scope of planning as well. So considering this in the mind, so MD01N is planned so that we can overcome this issue, and that I'll be showing you in the next video how system can plan and plan the STO materials as well. And there's another issue that we had with the classic MRP, which is system is planning within a planning horizon. So we can create a planning horizon, so can be 90 days, 100 days, something like that, and system will be planning within that planning horizon. So the reason for this planning horizon is that just to restrict the MRP planning, because if you run for the total horizon or the longer horizon, then there will be a lot of time will be consumed by the MRP. So just to reduce the time taken and to improve the performance of the traditional MRP, this planning horizon was created where we maintain say 90 days, 60 days or 100 days. So system will be doing the planning within this planning horizon. Now with this S4HANA system, there is no planning horizon involved. So there's nothing called planning horizon. So what there is, system will be planning for the total horizon. So total horizon can be for example 2 years as well, 1 year as well, or longer as well. So whatever the total horizon is, system is now capable to plan up to that long period. So that was another issue with the limitation with the planning horizon that we faced with the traditional MRP. So that's all about this, the issue that we had. Now in the next video we'll look at MRP Live and the features of the MRP Live. So just quickly, so we covered the topics, what is classic MRP and what are the issues that we had faced with the classic MRP. So that's all about this video, and thank you very much to watch this.